Okay. Hey, it's Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. This is Pastured Poultry 2017. Woo! Number 6, installment number 6. And it's the next day from installment number 5. And we got the water turned on yesterday, and everything is going smooth. And I want to show you out here in the run. We call this the chicken run. There's one of the waterers right there. See, that's how it looks when it's operational. And you can see it's on a swing. Let me see if I can show you this. I wish this thing had a viewfinder in the back. It's on a swing, so I can move it around in the cage. I don't have to have it sit in the same spot all the time, because wherever the water is, that's where they congregate, and it gets grungy right there. So this is a great technology to consider when you're building things out here on the farm. This is, you're kidding me, low battery. All right, I'm in low battery mode, but maybe cut me off. Well, this is electrical conduit right here, and this stuff's about $2 a stick. And they come in 10-foot sticks, and I use it for a lot of things. You can bend it really easily, and you can make frames. You can make runs for chickens to go in between the rows in your garden. You know, you just put poultry netting on the side, and then maybe put something on the top to keep them from jumping out. You can get really creative with the stuff. I just used pressure-treated 2x4s with this one, and drilled a 9/16 hole into it, and then put some construction adhesive in there, and then you can stick this stuff right down that hole and it stays. It's really good. I thought what I'd like to do, I'm hearing a lot about chicken these days, and I did go on yesterday and I said I'd really like it if folks would support our small farm and do business with us, buy chicken from us. And you know, I'm getting some questions. All right, now, what makes your chicken different than the chicken that we can get at the store? I've had people say to me, you know, I can get it at the store for X amount, 59 cents or whatever like that. What's different about your chicken? All right, in a nutshell, these chickens, all chickens, broiler type chickens like this, are quite fragile. All right, and if you grow them in, let's say, see who's watching. All right, people are watching. All right, if you grow them in a hog house, I mean in a chicken house, and you have 15,000 of them in there, all of a sudden now there's this thing in my way. All right, it's gone. You know, when they're concentrated like that, if one of them gets sick, they're all going to get sick. So to prevent that from happening, what those growers do is they introduce compounds to prevent them from getting sick. Because if you have 15,000 birds, even if each one's worth only $2, you know, you're losing a pile of money. So that's what they do. I don't really want to be feeding that to my kids. Whatever they put in there, and I'm not going to argue, you know, the USDA says some stuff's okay, and how about nothing? How about we put nothing in there, all right? And how about the chickens are just healthy, and then when I feed those chickens to my kids, I know that they're getting a healthy meat. And, you know, I don't have any adverse reactions to them when I eat them, too. And right now, if we eat poultry, let's say we go to somebody's house and for a turkey dinner or something like that, I instantly get a headache from that stuff. So when you get used to eating clean meats, you can really tell the difference in the way your body performs. You really can. And once you get to that performance level, you never want to go back. Like I've told you, I'm 81 years old. You wouldn't know it. I look like a day over 57. But yeah. Anyway, I'm supposed to be dealing in truth here. But with pastured poultry, with these chickens on the outside And the ability to get into some dirt and eat that, it keeps them healthy, right? They can get into the microbes. There won't be any of that in a huge chicken house. They're just going to be on about this much chicken litter, they call it, and all it is really is sawdust, you know. In this case, we have them in chicken tractors, so these birds get to eat clover, alfalfa, grass, and then anything they can catch, grasshoppers, bugs, or anything like that. And in about 8 weeks, we have a really nice looking chicken that is going to have much firmer meat, and it's not going to taste squishy, you know. It's going to taste like something you'd like to eat. And when you get used to it, it's pretty tough to go back to like IGA chicken. It's pretty tough. I don't think I could do it. So there is a huge difference. Now, if you go to the store and you see that they have organic chicken, do you really think that they are growing those chickens out on pasture? There's not. You'll see on labeling, they'll call it free range. I see that all the time. I have neighbors that do it, and they call it free range. But I can show you a picture of the house that they grow them in. But they think because the birds have access to the outside, which they will open a door and have a little yard out there, but the birds aren't going to go out there. You have to force them out. They think because they've given them access that they're free range. Free range is really the antithesis to battery caging, right? In battery caging, I think people have seen that. We have chickens from the floor to the roof in cages, and they're all manuring on each other, and they live in that for their 6 weeks or 8 weeks of life, and then they're pulled out of there all dirty, and then they're processed, and that's your chicken that you're getting from, you know, the store. That's why they always tell you, make sure you really cook it good, because, yeah. And so to keep them healthy, they have to put stuff in them as preventative measures. And see, we don't do that. These chickens are actually fit to eat. Now, you pay more, but there's more into it. But, you know, you are what you eat, and if you ingest a lot of those chemicals that prevent the chickens from getting sick, what do they do to your fragile body? You know, you have to really consider that. Oh, Mark, but the USDA says it's okay. Okay, all right, you're good with that. I hope you're good with that. FDA, they think it's okay. All right, cool. It's not good. I'll tell you, it's not good at all. A lot of the compounds that are available for poultry, they will tell you, like amprolium, for one. Coccidia is a huge problem in these chickens. And if you're going to feed them amprolium as a preventative subtherapeutic measure, you have to stop that 2 weeks before you process them. So do you think all that amprolium gets out of them in 2 weeks? I don't think it does. I just don't. And why are they telling you have to hold that before you can process them? All right, it's better to just, if you have the opportunity, to just stay away from it. And this is why, if you live by a small farm and you can support a small farm, you have an opportunity that most people do not. I mean, people that are in big cities, if they want to drive out to a farm to get stuff, it's a huge hassle for them. Well, and that's why we've done what we've done, worked this deal with UPS, but some people don't want to pay the shipping for UPS to bring it to their door. And that's problematic. Maybe you need to move to the country, but there's nothing I can do about that. Along those lines, before I forget, we really like to show off the farm, but I can't do that during the week. You know, people just stop in and think that farmers stand around all day. I am working from the time I go out until the sun goes down, and a lot of times I'm out with a headlamp on. But we do like to show the farm off, and so what we do is we set hours on Saturday from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. 1 to 3. Now, we stand around and talk up here in the yard until about 1:30. And then we load up on the hay wagon, and then we stop at you know, many different places around the farm. I get off and I tell you what's going on. I point out the ins and the outs and take questions, and it's a very informative tour. I really enjoy doing it, and we've met a lot of great people during it. It's good for people that want to get in this business, and it's good for people that want to eat this stuff. And then after the tour, 1 to 3, 2 hours, the store is open. So then my wife and daughters are at the store. Buy anything you want, take it right home with you. It's not a bad deal to come to Michigan just for the tour. We don't charge anything for it at this time. But come to Michigan, stay in town, take the tour, buy some stuff, and then head back to Alabama. And then you'll do that, and then you'll really appreciate the UPS man bringing it to you. Yeah. All right. Okay. I want to hit a lot of points on pastured poultry because people are getting interested in this, but I think I'm low on battery, so I'm just going to cover one thing. Starter feed. What we do is we buy a commercial feed, and we do that now because we don't have a better alternative. But those of you that have seen my videos about raising hogs, I feel the same way about prepared chicken feed or chicken feed that we buy from the store as I do about hog chow. I just as soon not use it. And here's why. If you look at this chicken feed that I have right here, well, no, not this. If you look at some stuff that we have gotten from various places around here, you will see on the label raw protein. What is that? All right. And of course, it's a USDA label, and they say, hey, this stuff's safe for chickens. All right. But what do they mean by that? Do they mean it's safe for chickens so long as you give them amprolium? I don't know. Like, where does the coccidia come from? Is it in the chickens? Now, coccidia is something that is in chicken. What is the raw protein? We don't know. We don't know. It's like when I put something on the shelf at one of the stores that I service, if it says cheese on the label, the owner of that store wants to know, well, what's in the cheese? But when I buy feed for the animals, they can say on it raw protein, and I don't get to say, well, what's in that? And that's because it's for animal feed, so you can feed animals anything. Well, you know, as a farmer, the kind of farmer that I am, I don't believe that. I don't think you can feed them anything. You know, if I'm not willing to take a handful of it myself, why would I feed it to these animals that I'm going to eat? I'm not going to do that. And I don't think you should. You know, some of the great big feedlots that you'll see in certain parts of the United States, they actually feed chicken litter to cattle. Right? Now think about that next time you get a T-bone at your favorite restaurant. That's why you really need to know where your meat comes from. And, you know, eating really rare meat, I like to do it, but I can do it with my animals, but I can't really do it with the stuff that I get, and I don't know where it came from. Because there's things out there that you can get that you don't want to get. Okay, so I use the prepared feed, and it's about 20% protein, and it gives them a jump start. Okay, it's saying I'm down to 10% battery, so how much yakking can I do with 10% battery? And in farming, we want to do anything we can that's fair, any advantage that we can take that's fair. We don't want to steal from anybody. We don't want to rip anybody off. And one of the advantages that's huge, I showed you these waterers out here, right? And you see that? Would you want to drink out of that? I don't want my chickens, just babies, to drink out of that. You just don't want them. So these things, you want to have enough of them to where you can wash them out. And, you know, we don't take them in the house and run them through the dishwasher or anything like that. But when they get like that, you can see that the birds have stepped in manure, and then they get it in the water, and then they're ingesting that. You don't want that. So we wash them in between uses. And I didn't cover this yesterday, but I think this is really important. One of the best reasons to go with a closed positive pressure water system, the little giant waterers like I showed you yesterday, is because you're feeding fresh water to that drinking cup all the time. The water is not exposed, from the well to the drinking cup. It's not exposed to the air, so birds can't poop in it. It's not going to pick up a lot of impurities. It's going to minimize the impurities. I mean, it's the same water that I drink and my kids drink, so I don't mind feeding it to my chickens. But then we want to feed these cups. See that cup right there? It's got a little bit of sediment in the bottom of it, and it takes 1 minute, less than a minute, to take that off and dump it out. And it's kind of like a self-watering discipline, a self-cleaning discipline. And you will really see the difference in the performance of your birds if you keep your waterers clean. Some people put electrolytes in the waters. I don't. I never have needed to. We do okay. The only thing that I do that's a little off the reservation is the biochar. And I got a lot of interest in that yesterday because a lot of people have struggled with coccidiosis. It's bad. I've lost a lot of chickens to coccidiosis. So in our series on biochar, I've kind of had to put that on hold because I have other things going on right now. But I have the retort moved over to the area where I'm going to start burning it. It's not quite complete. I got a bunch of things going on right now. But I'm just about out of biochar. So we're going to get that going. People want to buy it from me. I'd rather show you how to make it yourself. But if you really got to have it, I will sell small quantities because that's really all I have until I get rolling. And, don't middleman it. I mean, if you need it for your own flock, then let's do it like that. But I'm not going to get in the commercial biochar business. There's other people that are. I think you can find it on Amazon and things like that. I don't know about it. I can't guarantee it. I can only guarantee the stuff that I make. So in my next installment, I'm going to talk to you about predation. That is one of the things that makes people throw the towel in very quick, is predation. And that's where you have all these nice birds out here, and then I'm in the house, an eighth of a mile away, sleeping all night. And they I can smell them pretty much when I'm walking up to them. If the wind's coming towards me, I can actually smell them. So every predator that's just waking up out of their sleep for the winter, they smell that too, and they're thinking, I want to get me a chicken dinner. So you've got the neon sign on out here saying, hey, come and get it. And you have to do something to discourage that. And there's all kinds of ways. I've tried them all, and we've settled on one that works, and it works well. And it's kind of foolproof. And I'm going to go into that tomorrow. I'm going to have to shut this off here because I'm going to run out of... See, I got a thumbs up when I said I'm going to shut it off. Please like and share this. I need a lot of likes on this to just change the standing with our algorithm. And I am sharing this over to the Mark Baker Facebook page, and I think from there I can get it over to YouTube. But for now, I'm going to put all of these up on Baker's Green Acres page, and a whole bunch of followers and likes and subscribes and all that on there would be really good. Also, please consider doing business with a small farm. And this is Mark from Baker's Green Acres. Anyone can farm. Do it yourself or do business with somebody that does. Thanks.